Hello, this is Sandra here, and this is the next question I was hearing to speak on. Okay, so the question is, do we really need Jesus to return? Do we really need him to come back? I really want to think about that because it's almost like you feel the whole world is waiting for his return. And that when he finally does return, everything's going to be okay. Oh, whoo! Everything is going to be okay then. It's really going to be okay when Jesus comes back, because when he comes back, he's gonna look after us. Yeah, he's gonna set it straight. He's gonna right all the wrongs. He's going to remind us that we are God's children and that we can live in peace with one another should we so choose it. I think if he comes back, it is a fulfilling of the scriptures, meaning that we often, through prophets, our past lifetimes, are able to receive messages from the divine that pertains to future events that will be happening down the road for us. And prophecy is, when prophecy is fulfilled, it's a big deal. It's like, wow, you know what? I thought that. Okay, I'll give you an example. In 2004, I heard that Oprah was Moses. And in 2005, I started writing a book, The Day That Oprah Came to Visit My Garden. And in this book, I called her energy to me when we wrote it. And at one point in the book, while I was writing, Spirit took over. And the premise is that we're up on my cottage having a chat for the weekend. And we come back along the beach and we go into the water and we're having a swim. And the next thing I know, Spirit speaks through me and has me anoint Oprah and baptize her as the next Queen of America. Now, when that happened to me, when I wrote that book, I didn't know that was going to come out. So as I'm typing it, it was kind of like, oh, really? Or like, it was a surprise to me that it came through me, because I had no intention of writing that in the book. And here it comes out, that Oprah's to be next Queen of America. So I thought, well, that was really strange, but that was kind of cool that it came out. So now we're going to fast forward to 2018, and just after the Golden Globes. And I believe there's very much a desire by us all to be led by someone that we feel has our best interests at heart and is trying to help us awaken. Because that's what we need to do. We need to awaken. And at our core, I think we all know that. We all realize that. So our hopes are once again pinned on that big soul spirit Moses to part the sea of illusionment and allow us to move into what is, the awareness of what is, awareness of what is possible for us if we choose to be loving to one another and live in peace. And that, to me, is a very Christ-like endeavor, to go out and make that your intention, that you allow God to work through you to help his people. There's no more noble cause. And I think when we think of the Christ returning, it's not only, hey, I predicted that, it came true, isn't that wild? Because I fully expect Oprah will become Queen of America, like first woman president. Great, awesome, that'd be wonderful. So whatever they choose will be, but it's the promise of something better. And when we pin our hopes on Christ returning, we make it contingent on his appearance to give ourselves approval to be better people, to create a world that's okay to live in, that we don't want to run away from, that we're not frightened to live in. And I know for many people, it is a scary time because we don't know what's going to happen. We see things deteriorating, and especially our communication with one another and our ability to respect others' words is the words of God, which means we tend to judge and ridicule other people, and if our thoughts and opinions are not the same, we'll argue with them to try and bring it over to our side, rather than have a mutually respectable conversation where someone voices an opinion and you voice your opinion. You just go, oh, okay, all right, so I hear you, and this is what I've learned, and then maybe someone else will come in the conversation. Yeah, well, I look at it like this, and you go, oh, I never thought of that. Okay. Well, maybe we should look at it like that. So when we are open, when we have an open mind, and we are constantly able to take what comes to us, not as a threat, a personal affront, or something to be judged, but rather, hey, there's some information. Here's some more information. Here's some more information. I think when we are in that consciousness, we're much more allowing of what comes to us, and then it's actually a relief that things are coming to us, because all thoughts and all people and all things that come to you are truly there for your betterment and for you to awaken. So when you look at every interaction with every person and every happenstance as an opportunity to awaken, it's like something happens and you go, ask the question, well, why'd that happen? Well, what does that mean? And I wonder if that person was brought to me because of this or that. And now all of a sudden we become detectives in our own lives, and we try and understand, okay, if that happened because I think I was upset about this, but now this person came and talked, and you know what, I feel better. And now I can move forward with this. So it's all linked up together. We are constantly guided along our way all the time. I think for us as a people to put all our hopes and dreams and ways of being and thinking onto one person is refusing to accept the responsibility that we create our own world with our own thoughts and actions. We're co-creators. We create what we want to see. So we as a people can create a better world. We as a people can have the collective consciousness that we're going to have peaceful resolutions. We're going to sit and talk. We're going to be honest with each other and look at some of the systems that are in place that aren't working, and allowing them to change for the better. I think all these things that are possible right now. Do we need Jesus to come back? For me, if it were to come back, there's part of me that goes, boy, wouldn't he bring a good energy? Wow, just being around him, you'd be feeling really good because his energy would be very positive and very high. To me, that's attractive because it's such a rarity to find that, and such a discipline to be able to be a vehicle for it. So when you come across it, you recognize it and you appreciate the frequency when someone holds a high frequency. Really appreciating that and feeling the peacefulness in their presence. When you feel peacefulness in somebody's presence, I think the person who's emitting the peacefulness has moved into a place where they accept what comes at them. Yeah, there. They accept what comes at them, and it doesn't faze them. It doesn't fizz them. It doesn't, they don't get out of alignment and go into a drama. If something shows up that isn't what they thought it should be, they just watch it and they go, wow, that's what's happening. Wow, that's what's happening. Wow, now this is happening. Yeah. Yeah, to be in the watching of what is happening and letting go of what you want. Letting go of what you want to happen. Letting go of, but if I do this, I think this will happen. If I do this, I think this will happen. Okay, I'm giving examples as they pop into my head. So when I finish this book, I'm going to make it available, and it's going to be a world bestseller, and it's going to change a lot of thoughts and bring a lot of people into awareness. There, that's my projection for my project. Now, the task comes at hand. The task is, what if that's not what God is planned for it? What if I'm to write this book and put it in under my bed for 20 years? You know, like, what if that's what's going to happen? What if something else comes up in my life and all of a sudden I'm thinking I'm going here, now holy crap, I'm going over here. This has happened, so now everything goes over here. In a sense, that's what makes it exciting, an exciting life to live, if you sit back in your chair with a bowl of popcorn and you just, yeah, look what's happening now. Wow, I didn't think that was going to happen. Look at me now. Wow, watch that. Like today, I ended up going to a meeting, and I walked out in the meeting because I could feel as soon as I sat down, the energy was not where I needed to be. It was like, no, I'm not needing to be here. I can feel I got to leave. And I was honest, and I spoke up about having to leave the meeting, and I left the meeting, and the feeling immediately that for me, as I did, was, oh, I made the right decision. I could feel my energy lift again. And that happened for me to be able to stand up and say, no, I'm going to respect this energy that's coming through me that's telling me I got to go home and write. And I did that. And it felt right after I did it. So it's, I guess, what I'm trying to say about that is following your inner guidance that takes you where it is you have to be, when you have to be there. Going back to, do we really need Jesus back or not? I don't know, it's just like, it's something that's held out there. It's an idea that if he comes again, it's all going to be better. We're going to move into a new kingdom. Maybe a new kingdom, meaning heaven on earth, meaning a new awareness. And if he came back and really it's, to me, the physical manifestation of the Christ is the message of it's okay, it's okay, I got you. I'm the shepherd, you're my sheep, I'm here. I'm looking after you. Don't think I didn't forget you, that you're here, because I didn't forget you. And so because enough of you have worried that I've forgotten you, I'm going to physically come back and manifest again so that you can see me once again, so you know that it's okay. I wonder if is that what we need? Is that what we need, to see him? And how many of us can see him if he were there? That's always a good question. Because I always believe that what happened then happens now. So how many of us are living in a high enough vibration that you could construct, that you could allow yourself to actually be walking down the street and bumping into Jesus, and would you recognize him? That to me is just such a great question, because would you have the mind awareness of it? Could you feel it? Could you feel it inside? Some of us could, some of us could not. It's always an interesting thought for me. On a personal note, would I like to see Christ return? Yeah. Because I think his very leaving spoke to our abilities to vibrate high enough that we can lose this body and move into our light bodies and return again. And because of that, it's kind of cool. It would be kind of cool to actually see that happen. So you'd have to know somebody in the physical, and they would have to die, and then they would have to return for you to be able to experience what those people who loved and knew Jesus experienced when he did just that. My big question is, and always has been, if they didn't recognize him when he returned, how come? That was a great question for me. So I went out and did a lot of research and homework on that. So that's one of my theories that I expand upon when I've written my book here. So is it unrealistic for us to be holding our hopes and dreams on the return of God's Son? So many generations before us have been waiting, but I believe people have found him on the way, primarily because I believe he never leaves us. He's always here. And so you would encounter him with different names, different bodies, new learnings, new teachings always. I think it's a personal experience. And as people are becoming more and more awake, and they are, huge difference from 30, 20 years ago when you weren't, this subject never came up because you didn't want to be judged as crazy, so you kept your mouth shut. But now people are awakening and they want to know more. And that's good. Like, that's really great. So it's a phenomenon. It's happening anyway. It's like the Renaissance. It's happening anyway. You might as well join in. It's here. So that's what I think, that it's going to happen anyway. Yeah. So when you ask, do we need him to return? Ask yourself, do you need him to return? Yeah. What do you need him to return to you for? And what would you believe different if Christ were returned than you believe now? What would change in you? What belief would you now believe seeing him again? What belief would you now have? Interesting, eh? I'm hearing no doubt. You'd have no doubt? Because then you'd see it with your eyes and you'd believe it. But I don't think you can just see Jesus with your eyes. I think you have to see him with your faith. Yeah? Yeah, you have to see him with your faith. You have to believe it. So when I encounter him again, I think it would be like, I knew you'd return. I knew you'd come back. I knew I'd see you. I knew I'd meet you. And in my world, if that were to happen to me, that would be a real miracle. But the last thing I do, I think, is ever try and convince you of it. because there would be no convincing you. It's something you have to experience. It's something we all have to know, because once you know it, you never forget it. And you can't unknow anything. Yeah. Thank you.